Hey everyone, welcome back to LingoDive. This is episode 5, and today we're going to talk about something that does not always come up in casual conversations, but almost all of us deal with it in some way. Self-sabotage. More specifically, why do we sometimes ruin our own progress right when things are finally going well? You're finally waking up early, eating better, going to the gym, you're getting praise at work, or you've just landed a new opportunity. Things are flowing. And then out of nowhere, you pull back. You procrastinate. You talk yourself out of it. You forget to show up. You ghost your own goals. Why does that happen? It's frustrating, it's confusing, and it can be really discouraging because it starts to feel like you're the problem. But let's pause and break it down a little. First of all, self-sabotage is often unconscious. You don't wake up in the morning and say, "Today I'm going to ruin my life." It's more subtle than that. It shows up as fear, doubt, overthinking, and sometimes even perfectionism. In fact, perfectionism is one of the sneakiest forms of self-sabotage. You tell yourself, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. But really, that's just fear dressed up as logic. Because deep down, success is scary. Not just because it's hard, but because it changes your life. It raises expectations. It brings responsibility. It makes people look at you differently. And maybe without realizing it, you're afraid that you can't keep it up. You're afraid that if you succeed once, you'll have to succeed again. And that pressure can feel heavier than failure. Sometimes, self-sabotage also comes from old beliefs. Things we picked up as kids or earlier in life. Maybe you grew up thinking you weren't smart enough or capable enough. Maybe someone told you, "Don't dream too big." And even now, as an adult, that little voice still whispers in your head when you're about to take a risk. It says, "Who do you think you are?" Or, "You don't belong here," or, "You're not ready yet." That voice, that's impostor syndrome. The feeling that you're a fraud, that you've somehow tricked everyone into thinking you're competent, and one day they'll find out the truth, even when you are competent. Even when you've earned your success. So, what do we do with all this? The first step is simple, but hard. You've got to notice it. Notice when you're pulling back for no good reason. When you're talking yourself out of something you do want. When you're delaying action, but calling it thinking it through. Awareness is everything. Because you can't change a pattern you don't see. The next step is to break the cycle. And that does not mean suddenly becoming fearless or perfect. It just means not giving up the second it gets uncomfortable. You keep showing up. You take one more step even when the voice in your head is screaming at you to stop. You remind yourself, "I deserve this." Success doesn't mean pressure, it means growth. I don't need to have it all figured out. I just need to keep going. Alright, now let's take a moment to highlight some of the natural phrases I used in this episode. These are the kinds of expressions native speakers use when talking about deeper emotional or psychological topics. 1. Pull back. To stop or withdraw, usually out of fear or discomfort. 2. Ghost your own goals. Disappear from your responsibilities or plans like you're ghosting someone in a relationship. 3. Perfectionism dressed up as logic. When fear hides behind a rational excuse. 4. Impostor syndrome. The feeling that you're not actually good enough despite evidence. 5. Break the cycle. Stop a repeated negative behavior or habit. 6. Show up. To be present and take action, especially when it's hard. You'll hear these in podcasts, interviews, and casual but emotional conversations between native speakers. They're not academic, but they're real. And if you can work these into your speech, you'll start to sound more natural, confident, and expressive in English. Alright, that's it for episode 5. If you've ever caught yourself pulling back from something good, or doubting whether you're good enough, just know you're not alone. It doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you're human. And growth is still possible. Thanks for listening to LingoDive. If this episode spoke to you, subscribe for more. Real English, real life. Peace out.